Hello and a warm welcome to TBC News, our top stories. Tanzania-Poland relations take a notch higher. Zanzibar reassesses retirees' benefits. Good evening, I am Nasa Kingo. Just a reminder, you can also follow us live via our YouTube channel, TBConline, and also get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook, and X pages at TBConline. And we start here in Dar es Salaam, where President Samia Suluhu Hassan says her government will continue to cooperate with Poland in various key areas like economy and the tourism sector, where in recent years the number of tourists from Poland has increased. President Samia made the remarks when she met and held talks with President Andrzej Duda of Poland, who is in the country for a 2-day state visit. Here is a report prepared by Bakari Mswe and read by Kanki Mwaigomole.
Special parade to welcome President Andrzej Duda of Poland. Then discussions followed and the issue of tourism dominating. And here President Samia issues a directive to the flag carrier airline of Tanzania, ATCL.
Sasa ili kuchochea zaidi utalii pamoja na biashara.
Right now, in order to further stimulate the tourism and business sector, we have directed our experts to take steps that will enable direct flights from Poland to Tanzania.
President Samia did not stop there. She further elaborates other issues they agreed on.
We will continue to strengthen the existing cooperation and encourage more awareness in strategic sectors such as the industrial production, mineral energy, natural gas, and the blue economy. I have thanked the President for the readiness of his country through the Transport Credit Agency to provide insurance to commercial banks for the implementation of the modern railway project for the Okotopora to Tabora and Tabora to Isaka routes.
And then it was the turn of President Andrzej Duda, who starts by thanking Tanzania for providing asylum to Polish refugees during the Second World War. President Duda says his country will continue to cooperate with Tanzania in various sectors like the health sector as well as the tourism sector, noting that his visit to Tanzania has given him the answer to the reason why most of his citizens prefer Tanzania as the first tourist destination in the world.
Now, as we heard from the discussions between the President Samia Suluhu Hassan and the President Duda of Poland, ATCL will now start direct flights from Tanzania to Poland. Poland is among the top 10 countries in the world whose most citizens visit Tanzania, whereby last year, that is 2023, about 41,000 tourists from Poland visited Tanzania. To understand more on the impact of the direct flight in stimulating cooperation between the two countries, we are joined by Paul Pastori, who is an economic analyst.
International tourist arrivals from Poland will be boosted by the international flights, which will be initiated by ATCL. This significantly will be having an impact in terms of international tourist arrivals, which ultimately will boost the number of expenditure in Tanzania, because when these tourists are in Tanzania, mean that they'll have to spend in terms of accommodations, transport, and other tourist products. But also it will boost the foreign direct investment, which is now has been the main topic advocated by the United Nations World Tourism Organization, as well as our country.
The president of Zanzibar, Dr. Hussein Ali Mwinyi, says that the elderly need more support, especially in improving their health. Dr. Mwinyi made the remarks earlier today when he met and held talks with the representatives of the American Association of Retired Persons, AARP, which is an association which is involved in improving the lives of the elderly. President Dr. Mwinyi urges the association to persuade other international organizations such as USAID and others to explore best ways to offer support to the elderly on health issues.
Support the elderly in this country are many. We've started with the pensions, and I think it is highly appreciated, but we still need to do more from the fact that the amount that we are given is what we can afford at the moment, but it's not enough. But also the age, that we start, it is 70. But we would very much like to bring it down to at least 60 and see how it goes. But if you bring it down to 60, it means the number of people you're covering is very, very high.
Dr. Mwinyi further insists that the government of Zanzibar has improved pensions and other social security benefits for the elderly.
That there's a lot to be done. Yeah. So your visit here is a learning process for us as well. We will get the NGOs that are working with us to emulate the type of work that you are doing.
The AARP delegation informed President Dr. Mwinyi that the purpose of their visit to Zanzibar is to show their satisfaction with the development progress on key areas made in the Isles. The Vice President, Dr. Philip Mpango, says more effort is needed in providing education on non-communicable diseases, as well as focusing on a better lifestyle so as to deal with various diseases, including cardiovascular diseases. The Vice President made the remarks during the opening of the International Cardiovascular Conference, which is being held in Unguja, Zanzibar. Here are more details.
Vice President Dr. Philip Mpango says in dealing with heart diseases, it is important for citizens to adhere to medical rules, including regular exercises and a healthy diet.
To succeed in overcoming cardiovascular diseases, people must adhere to preventive measures against risk factors such as smoking, inactivity, excessive alcohol intake, and obesity.
Furthermore, the Vice President calls on more extended research on heart diseases to find out best ways to avoid them, insisting that Tanzania has taken various serious measures to deal with non-communicable diseases, including heart diseases.
For a long time, cardiovascular diseases have not been given proper attention in Africa, compared to recent times where increased efforts to gather information on their epidemiology, clinical characterization, and outcomes are being made. Owing to the growing prevalence of heart failure in our region, research into determinants of cardiovascular diseases must go beyond the conventional risk factors.
The two-day meeting is organized by the Kikwete Cardiac Institute, and it brings together leading doctors, experts, and health stakeholders, nurses, and policymakers from more than 40 countries with the aim of discussing and sharing experiences in various issues related to heart diseases.
From Zanzibar now, we come to Dar es Salaam, where the former Tanzanian President, Dr. Mrisho Kikwete, has today visited the embassy of Namibia in Tanzania to offer his condolences following the death of the former president of Namibia, Hage Geingob. President Kikwete says he has worked closely with the late President Geingob in Southern African Development Community SADC, the African Union AU, and the United Nations, and that he is a leader known for his patience and strong leadership.
I visited him when he was Prime Minister. We had a long chat, many issues. I visited him several times when he was president. But we have worked together in many fora. Southern African Development Community, SADC, the African Union, the United Nations, and several others. He was an expression of patience. When when he was Prime Minister and Sam Nujoma was President, people expected when Sam Nujoma vacates, then Sir Hag would assume that position, but he did not, and he never quarreled, never created any fuss. That is a level of tolerance and patience that then I was delighted when President Pohamba chose him to be his heir. Yes, I was so happy, and I thanked President Pohamba. I thanked President Nujoma for that decision. Well, fate has decided.
On the other hand, the Namibian ambassador to Tanzania, Lebius Tangeni, says that the visit of President Kikwete shows the close relations between Namibia and Tanzania.
A testimony that the very good relationship we have between our two countries, that is Namibia and Tanzania, is really a very strong one. And us as Namibians that live here, we really are a testimony to that the Tanzanian people took us as their brothers and sisters.
The permanent secretary of the Ministry of Finance, Dr. Nato Mwamba, calls on more collaboration between the government and the private sector so as to achieve the inclusive and sustainable economic growth in Tanzania towards the Agenda 2050. Here is the report prepared by Ismail Bugda and read by Faida Ngaga.
Made the call in Dar es Salaam when officiating the 2024 Technical Level Strategic Dialogue with a theme towards 2050, accelerating an inclusive development in times of uncertainty.
The government will continue to implement the priorities stipulated in the third National 5-Year Development Plan, specifically in realizing an inclusive and competitive economy.
Dr. Mwamba also outlines key priorities for Tanzania's economic development, including human capital development, industrialization, and trade expansion.
The issue of human capital development is central to our developmental route. In our pursuit to sustain achievement of graduation into the lower middle income country and build the momentum that will enable the country to take off to higher level of development.
On the other hand, the UN Resident Coordinator Zlatan Milicic says food security and nutrition improvement are fundamental in reducing multidimensional poverty and delivering the efficiency of the Vision 2050.
Food systems strengthening is a very important component of a healthy population and to achieve sustainable development aspirations. Indeed, at the heart of the Agenda 2030 and its 5 critical dimensions, people, prosperity, planet, partnerships, and peace. That is SDG number 2.
Raphael Maganga is the CEO of TPSF, and here he outlines the area that need to be given priority towards Agenda 2050.
So food security now in our country is a very, very important area. We saw the impact that the war in Russia and Ukraine brought to the prices of food globally. And without really shock-proofing this aspect, our economy will still be, will not be very sustainable.
The meeting is important as it focuses on strategically discussing cross-cutting issues, provide recommendations to stimulate the implementation of priorities outlined in the third 5-year National Development Plan, particularly in achieving an inclusive and competitive economy, strengthening industries and service delivery, promoting investment and trade, and enhancing the capacity and skills of human resources.
The acting director of Muhimbili Orthopedic Institute, Lemeri Mchome, says the institute will continue to organize more exchange programs on thoracic surgery, together with practical trainings from specialist doctors from Italy and Palestine, as part of increasing experience and quality in performance to local doctors, aiming at strengthening health sector in Tanzania. He made the remarks at the conclusion of the Scoliosis surgery camp in Dar es Salaam. Peter Mganga was there and has prepared the following report.
It is the last day of the camp involving specialist doctors from Italy and Palestine. The camp has provided scoliosis surgery services for free, accompanied with the training for local doctors. Here, the acting director explains how this program boosted health sector services in the country, promising more improvements in health sector services through application of modern technology.
In this workshop, we are trying to impact knowledge, skills, and experience to our specialists and the super specialists. And the aim of this is to make sure that we build the capacity to our local surgeons so that they can be champion in this field and in future. Through the training, through the COSEXA and the MUHAS, our university here, we can train other specialists so that these services will be available for Tanzanians.
On the other hand, expert doctor from Palestine and Italy explained the way in which the surgery service in the country has improved and vowed to continue providing training to local doctors on the use of artificial intelligence in the provision of health services.
We are implementing a program to correct the spine deformities in children, and to have a sustainable program that the local surgeons will do in the future without having any problem and with the maximum safety for the patients.
In future, with the help of the MOI administration and hopefully our government, this Tanzanian project should be the best light, the best thing that all Africa, also COSEXA, that is, is an important orthopedic and education program for this part of Africa.
Furthermore, some of the local doctors who got a chance to gain more experience and knowledge from the specialist doctors say that they will apply the knowledge they got as part of developing the health sector in the country, making Tanzanians opt treatment locally, hence reducing costs.
I'm capable now to operate under the guidance, so I can operate on my own, me with my colleague Mcharo, and they can even remotely control us from outside, that they've said. They can use some software where they can see while we are operating.
Make sure that we teach local faculty, we teach local team to manage scoliosis cases here within the country, and we must make sure that we impact this knowledge to other.
The use of artificial intelligence in the world becomes a useful technology for the betterment of creating better standard of services in matter related with the health. Reporting from Dar es Salaam, Peter Mganga, TBC News.
Thank you very much, Peter Mganga, for that report. And that's good news there for the health sector of Tanzania. Minister of Community Development, Gender, Women and Special Groups, Dr. Dorothy Gwajima, calls on the media and guardians to educate and create awareness on their children on the dangers of frequent use of digital platforms. She made the call during the workshop involving Tanzanian children in digital age, aiming to discuss the risks and opportunities, which was held in Dar es Salaam earlier today. Kanki Magamola was there and is prepared in the following report.
The workshop was colored by the theme Child Online Protection, Responsibilities of All Communities.
It is obvious that the use of technology for children is important, even though fast-growing technology has caught up with them, and there is no way to avoid it. There are challenges in understanding the negative impact that comes with excessive use of technology. Must we be reminded that technology is an important resource in educating children and the society in general.
Meanwhile, Dr. Zakaria Onditi, a senior lecturer from the University of Dar es Salaam College of Education, says children and the youth are the largest users of technology, adding that if not used appropriately, the youth and children may be at risk.
The public should know the benefit of these technologies to children. It is their age. In fact, we call them the digital citizens, and we are the digital immigrant. So they have to use the opportunities afforded by these technologies. But on the other side, if these technology are not used appropriately, they are risks to be encountered by these children. Some of the risk includes cyberbullying and online sexual exploitation and abuse that may really experienced by these children.
TBC News spoke to Yusuf Kileo, a cybersecurity and forensic expert who says a growing number of internet users, especially the youth, are exposed to different risks of digital technology.
Many countries of late, they have decided to come with child online protection project, whereby we need to protect our kids as they interact with technology, as they utilize social media platforms and so on.
UNICEF is strengthening the child protection systems to prevent cases of violence against children, such as online sexual exploitation and abuse, in order to keep the children safe online.
As UNICEF, we are supporting the government of Tanzania to strengthen the child protection system so it can prevent and respond to cases of violence against children.
The aim of the workshop is to remind parents and guardians of the risks that the children may face through technology if left unattended. I am Kanki Mwegomole, TBC News.
Thank you very much, Kanki Mwegomole, for that report. Bank of Tanzania, BOT, calls on banks in the country to ensure financial inclusion covers women, youth, farmers, fishers, and the disabled so as to drive economic development of Tanzania. Speaking during the second conference on financial inclusion hosted by Tanzania Bankers Association in Dar es Salaam, Governor of Bank of Tanzania, Emmanuel Tutuba, says bankers should come up with products that will include women, youth, fishers, farmers, and the disabled so that they can maximize on their business activities to foster economic growth of Tanzania.
And these groups is the one for women, another one for youth, another one for micro, small, and medium enterprises, another one for persons with disabilities, and another group is for smallholder farmers and fishers. I believe if these groups will be included in the financial systems by addressing the barriers to access and usage, we will experience high economic growth.
76% of Tanzanian population have been reached by financial services, and the remaining still need banks' strategies to reach them, especially women, youth, farmers, and the disabled. We move now to Mtwara, where Mtwara Port has increased its cargo handling from an average of 400,000 tons to 1.6 million tons in the 2022-2023 financial year. This was revealed by the Mtwara Port manager during the visit of the delegation from the Tanzania Editors Forum to the port. Rehema Sababili is part of the delegation and has prepared the following report.
Mtwara Port Manager Ferdinand Nyati told the delegation that the government has invested about 157.8 billion shillings in various areas, including the Paya area and the purchase of a ship-to-shore gantry cranes, which help unload such containers in 1 hour.
Seen a massive improvement in terms of the capacity, cargo handling capacity, because the number has shifted from the capacity of handling 400,000 tons up to 1 million tons. And we went even further, and during the financial year 2022-2023, we managed to handle over 1.6 million tons of various consignment at the port.
Representing the delegation, chairperson of the Tanzania Editors Forum, TEF, Deodatus Balile, said that the improvements at the port are going to open up economic activities in the southern part of the country.
If the possibility is there, let the government improve the infrastructure, including railway, roads, and the publicity about the southern port, because the publicity about the Dar es Salaam port has been too high to the extent that most people are thinking the only port in Tanzania is the port of Dar es Salaam. But if you compare the distance from Mtwara to, let's say, Malawi, to Zimbabwe, to Zambia, and even DRC. It is a bit shorter compared to that of Dar es Salaam.
However, the manager has noted that the cost of shipping cargo through the Mtwara port is low, where the shipper saves up to 30% of the cost. Reporting from Mtwara region, Rehema Sababili, TBC News.
Thank you very much, Rehema, from Mtwara. Before we wind up local news, let us now have a look at today's exchange rates according to the Bank of Tanzania, BOT. Don't miss TBC News every weekday to know all the latest in exchange rates. Stay tuned now for all the latest in international news. And here is international news as compiled by Ramadan Impenta and read by Faithan Gaga.
Malawi has removed visa restrictions for travelers from 79 countries in an effort to boost tourism and trade in the country. The Malawi Homeland Security Minister, Ken Zikale, in a Gazette notice on Friday, amended the immigration regulations, effectively lifting visa barriers for citizens from the United Kingdom, China, Russia, Germany, Australia, Canada, Belgium, Ghana, the Gambia, Sierra Leone, France, and others. Also, nationals from the Southern African Development Community, SADC, and the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, COMESA, are exempt from visa requirements. The changes also include exemptions for certain groups, such as diplomats and government officials, and countries that have mutual exchange agreements for multiple entry visas with Malawi. Malawi joins Kenya and Rwanda in opening up their countries for African travelers. United States President Joe Biden has defended his memory after a special counsel report into his handling of classified documents, renewed scrutiny of his fitness for office ahead of the presidential election in November, and emotional and at times angry remarks. Biden, who is 81 years old, took aim at special counsel Robert Hur for...
Well, that was international news. Sports news up next.
Remember the year he began...
And in sports news, a futsal national team coach Curtis Reid says they have made all important tactical preparations for the return leg match against Namibia and are ready to beat them to qualify for the AFCON Championship 2024. Curtis adds that even though they have won in the first match, that does not reduce the appetite to train harder and focus on doing better for the benefit of the nation through futsal games.
Very well. We're trying to analyze the last performance so that we can maximize on our opportunity to win. We saw from the game we did make a few mistakes. There were areas where we need to improve, so we've been working on these areas in training. We feel we are ready for the game.
The futsal national team is already one step ahead of the qualifying for the AFCON Championship after beating Namibia 5-2 in the first leg game in Namibia. Chairman of the Tanzania Netball Association, Dr. Devota Marwa, says her association is conducting internal competition to select the national team players that will play for the coming East African Championships to be held in Tanzania. Devota believes that this is a great opportunity for the players to showcase their talents and will open various economic opportunities for their personal development.
Prepare well so that we qualify to play that game, because if we don't qualify, we will not participate. But how to qualify is to prepare our team before or prior to the competitions.
The national competition for the under-21 will officially start from March 16th to 24th, while Tanzania netball national team will start the official camp on February 15th, gearing up for the East African Championships. Well, that marks the end of the news bulletin for tonight. On behalf of the whole team, we wish you a good night and thank you very much for watching.